10, which means x plus 6 equals 10, which means when I subtract, why am I doing that? I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Once I subtract 6 from both sides, I get x equals 4. And very likely you'll see the answer in an answer key looking like this, 4, comma, 3. Okay? Because remember, it's x, comma, y. All right, let's just go on to the next one. Same thing on number 2. I'm taking a look at it and I realize, well, those y's are the same sign, but if one of these, and it doesn't matter which one I choose, but if I can choose that one, I can change it, but I got to change everybody. And once I do that, I realize 2x minus 1x is x. They go away, negative y and plus y equals 4. And look how quick that is. I'm going to plug it into there. And I'm going to get a 2 times 4 minus y equals 5, which means 8 minus y equals 5, which means when I go like this, I'm going to get negative y equals, add a line, change a sign. That equals a negative 3, or y equals 3. So my answer is going to be written as 4, comma 3. Okay, that's my final answer. Going on. Well, I can't just change signs on this one. So this one I'm going to have to think a little bit. Now, I have some options. If that x said negative 3x, my life would be really, really happy. So I could multiply everything by a negative 3. And so remember, I'd have to do all 3 of them. And I write negative 3x minus 3y equals a negative 18. Well, that's cool. I could do that. Do you see another thing I could do, though? I could also multiply by a positive 2. Because if I do that, I'm going to get, and I'm just going to write it underneath here, a 2x plus 2y equals 12. Now, you would get that answer, you would get the right answer if you did that first one I mentioned when you did negative 3. The only reason I prefer the 2 is because it just keeps the number smaller. Okay, and so it just makes it slightly easier, but it would absolutely work the other way. Again, we're trying to match up either our x's or the y's. It doesn't matter which one. And now when I do that, I get a 3x plus 2x is 5x. They go away, the y's equals 20. And when I do that, my x is going to equal 4. Now I can plug into either one. Now the original looks like the easiest one to me. So I'm going to plug x, I'm going to plug 4 into that x, and I'm going to get 4 plus y equals 6. Once I subtract 4 from both sides, I'm going to get y equals 2. So my answer here is going to be 4, comma 2. All right, let's go on to number 4. All right, same thing here. I can't just multiply. Now I can get rid of the y's or the x's. I can multiply the bottom by a negative 2, or I can multiply the top by a positive 2. Okay, because if I do the bottom by negative 2, I'm going to be able to kill my x's. And if I do the top by a 2, I'm going to be able to kill my y's. Well, what do you guys want to do? Well, honestly, it doesn't matter. Let's go ahead and do this one. Go away. There we go. So that's going to give me I'm going to write it over here. Negative 4x plus 4y equals 4. That's what happens when I distribute all 3 of them across. Can you see that? All right, just be very careful with your signs, because if you notice, I missed the last one, because that should be a negative 4, because negative 2 times positive 2 is a negative 4. Now, what do I do at the top? Whenever you multiply through and you write it off on the side, I always recommend that you just copy it, because we always see these better when they're on top of each other like that. Okay, so goodbye x's, they're gone. Okay, they equal 0. I'm going to get a 5y equals 15. And once I do this, you're going to see that y equals 3. Now I'm just going to take that y and I'm going to plug it in there. I'm going to get 4x plus 3 equals 19. Once I subtract 3 from both sides, I'm going to get 4x equals 16. Once I divide everybody by 4, I'm going to get x equals 4. So my answer is going to be 4, comma 3. Okay, so if you notice, this is just like version A, but I just have to do a little bit of math beforehand. Now 5, I see that plus 2y and the plus 2y, my brain goes, oh, I just got to change everybody's sign. Okay, I don't need to multiply by anybody. I just change their signs, and look what I get here. I get a 2x, they go away, equals 8. And now it's very easy to solve. X equals 4. Boom. Now just plug the 4 back in. I can plug it in anywhere. It doesn't matter. I'm going to plug it in there. 5 times x. Well, what's 5 times 4? Is 20. Plus 2y equals 24. Now when I subtract 20 from both sides, I'm just going to get 2y equals 4. Once I divide everybody by 2, y equals 2. And my answer is 4, comma, 2. All right, let's go on to take a look at this next one here. Good job going through all these guys. Okay, now here I can't just change signs. Now, what are my options? I can, well, first of all, you're going to see that I'm going to multiply the bottom by something. Now, I can multiply by -2, and that will get rid of my x's. I'm going to have a 2 and a -2. Cool. I could also multiply the bottom by a -3 because I need this to say +3 on the bottom. So to make a negative y say +3, I'd have to times by a -3 to make that work. Well, it doesn't really matter. I usually say go with the smaller numbers. So let's just do it. Okay, remember you got to multiply all three. I'm going to get a -2x plus 2y equals -2. Watch your signs there. Now I'm just going to copy. I'm not doing any math right here. I'm just copying. That's going to equal -1. Okay, so my 2's are gone. You can see that. I'm left with a -y equals, and if I go add a line, change a sign, that means I'm going to end up with a -1 or y equals 1. Okay, I'm going to plug it in. I can plug it in anywhere I want. Now, I didn't really change it inside here, but watch. If I go right there, boom, boom, it's going to be x minus 1 equals 1. Okay, so once I add let me make sure that this is all working. I have a mistake, don't I? I absolutely do. Before I go on, you probably caught it well before I did. I always look to make sure. What's the -1 plus the -2? Come on, Mac. That would be a -3. So my y is going to equal 3. Okay, let me write my line there, so hopefully you see that better. All right, so now once I plug in 3, I get x minus 3 equals 1. Add 3 to both sides. Boom, die. X equals 4. Yay, always check your work. And I'm going to get 4, comma 3. Now I'm nervous because I made a mistake, so I go check an answer key, which is a great thing for you guys to do. And number 6, the answer is 4, comma 3. Cool. All right, going on to the next one. Now I see that I have a positive 2x and a positive 2x, so I'm just going to change the signs. I'll do it on the bottom. Look, I changed all 3 of them, which I am allowed to do. And that'll leave me with a 6y equals 6. Or when I divide by 6, y equals 1. Now plug it back in. This one's all messed up, so I'm just going to go right in here just because it's less confusing. 2x plus 5 equals 17. You guys know how to do this. If what I'm doing right now, because I'm not explaining every step right now, if I'm going too fast for you on this, I suggest you go to chapter 2 at maxtutorials.com because these are all just like two-step equations that I go really, really slowly in unit 2, and it'll really help you. So if you stumbled upon this and you haven't gone through the rest of my sequence and you're just trying to learn how to do these and that part's confusing you, go to maxtutorials.com and go find chapter 2, and that will help you. All right, what are my options here? I can make him a -3. I can make him a -3. I can multiply this by what? By 2, because that'll give me a 2y and a -2y. So there's lots of things that you see I can do here, but I think the easiest one is just to do this. Boom, boom, boom. Change every sign, then my 3x's will go away, and I'm left with 3y equals 15. I just did that step because I want to show you that you have choices, and each choice would give you the right answer. So you don't have to freak out and go, I don't know what to do. Well, just do something. And then once you do something, the next step usually becomes apparent. All right, so now I just have a two-step equation. Letters on one side, numbers on the other. So I'm going to subtract the 5. 3x equals 12. Now I'm going to do my divide by 3, and I'm going to get my x equals 4. And so my answer is going to be 4, comma 5. All right, let's go ahead and do number 9. Same thing. I can multiply the bottom by a -3 to kill my y's, or I can just kill my x's by changing all the signs. 4's are gone. I'm now left with 2y equals 2. Once I divide by 2, y equals 1. Okay, I'm going to plug in my y. I'm going to plug it in right there. I'm going to get 4x plus 3 equals 19. Letters on one side, numbers on the other. I'm going to move the furniture. I'm going to get the 3 over to the right, and I'm going to get a 4x equals 16. Now I get to divide by 4 because the x is all by itself, and my x equals 4. Again, chapter 2, maxtutorials.com. That will help you. And the very last one in here. Okay, well, I got to multiply by something. I can multiply the bottom by a -5 to get rid of the x's, or by a -2, and it has to be a -2 because I need that to say plus on the bottom, okay? So I like to go with the number with the smaller numbers if I have a choice, okay? And so now that I have that, I'm going to go -2x plus 2y equals -4. And I'm just going to copy everything else. Okay, and once everything else is copied, I'm left with 3x equals 15. Solve for x, and I'm going to get x equals 5. Now I'm going to plug it in. Now, I don't see pluses and minuses here, so it's not confusing me too much. So I'm just going to go ahead and take that x, and I'm going to put them right in there. And it's just going to be 5 minus y equals 2. I'm going to subtract 5 from each side, which gives me a negative y. Don't forget that negative equals, add 1, change the sign, -3, which equals y equals 3. My final answer is going to be 5, comma 3. So now, on all these problems, I had to mess with it a little bit so I can get what I wanted right here, okay? In the version A, they were all just lined up like that. In version B, I had to either change signs or multiply one of the sides by, one of these numbers. You're almost there. There's one more situation where it could kind of mess you up, and we haven't done those. We're going to find them in version C. I really hope you guys go to version C because if you do, you guys are going to get everything. All right. So I'll see you in version C, or I'll see you on the next one. Take care, guys.